there! Postal here. Whoa, jeez. Do I sound like I just woke up? That's probably because I just did. We are taking out our Tier 10 Swift today. This is the British Tier 10 fighter. We're in a Tier 10 battle, of course. We're against an 1102B Siegfried. Holy crap. So this is probably not going to end up as a win. You know. But so be it. The game is the game. Let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to head to the center. You know what? F it. Let's get some more altitude here. What do I've got to look out for? Got a Swift on the enemy team and a Key 162. 162 can obviously outmaneuver me. But I really shouldn't be going for the Key 162 anyway. These guns are... Flip, I forgot how fast I am. These guns are not meant for taking on fighters. These guns are meant for taking on heavies. These guns are meant for taking on bombers. Jesus Christ, I'm already out of the sector. Like, how do I get out of the sector so quickly? Because this plane is fast as hell. And you want to utilize that speed. Thank you. She just helped me capture the sector. You want to utilize that speed to be able to take advantage of the enemy aircraft. And this Swift I should be able to actually take on just because he's a Swift and I'm a Swift, and you know, you can do that kind of stuff. So let's keep on moving on. I'll get this key knocked out if I can. Keys are really, really difficult to hit actually in this particular plane. Just because you've only got two 30mm cannons, right? And two 30mm cannons tend to go left and right of small targets. Even not small targets like this F-94, right? What's funny is I'm going as fast as this bot F-94 with my engine knocked out. I'm going 400 miles an hour almost. Let's go ahead and get the... yeah. Need to capture another sector. They've got a ground attack plane, and so we need to desperately take as many sectors as we can. There we go. Excellent. The more heavies, the better in my humble opinion. Having my tail knocked out certainly does not make life easier, but that's okay. Excelente. Alright, up and over. And let's get a move on. Still got the center, but it looks like they are there as well. Let's see what we can do here. A lot of little planes around.
Large enemy force spotted over the airfield.
You don't want to necessarily go directly at Siegfried. He's really, really good. I'm sure he can see us. We do want to hit this little bugger, because our 30mm cannons are so good at taking out targets like him. They're more difficult at taking out targets like this. In fact, I'm wasting time. I'm trying to slow down, which you never really want to do in this plane. Frickin' engines. Sure wish my guns would hit a little bit more. You know, could be said of literally every plane that has just two 30mm cannons. We're still up 3 sectors to 2. This is one of those maps that, like, since it's a fuzzy sky map, it would be kind of even more difficult to hit targets. Let's go ahead and head back to the center. Get our getting on. Again, we want to go for the heavies, go for the non-turning planes. Not necessarily, Jesus, Kitty's still couldn't get him. Not because they're necessarily not turny, because this plane actually has some decent maneuverability. It's middling, I guess we should say. It's not the worst at the tier. But just because the guns, you're going to want to aim for something that's bigger rather than smaller. Or something that's got much more predictable turning radius. Nope. I'm not living by my own mantra of when in doubt, aim further out. And I got in front of an F-94D, I think. Yes, I can hear the rockets going past me. Hoping that I've gone high enough up to be able to avoid him. Nope. My engine being knocked out certainly doesn't help this situation. Luckily, I was able to live here, just for a little while. Just outside the sector. Pretty terrible. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get the Spitfire knocked out.
Hang in there. You'll soon be cut off from support. I say again, support will not be available.
I could use some health. I guess I could shoot the ground, couldn't I?
Victory is in sight. Keep it up.
Stop shooting me! Ah, dang it, they're gonna win.
The airfield
Oh, we did
is
get the
ours.
center. Okay, good.
Utilize this advantage.
We're still up 3 sectors to 2. We're still having to deal with Siegfried being a butt. We've got full health now. And let's see what else we can do. Come on, load in. Ah, load in!
That's it. There's no way to break
Squall
through
line
now.
here.
You're on your own.
Let's go ahead and take care of everything that we can take care of. You guys know how much I love getting custody-ups. Over and aim further out. I haven't been aiming further out this whole freaking game. So shame on me. Bunch of F-94s, F-84s, F all this 4s. Oh, there are literally 2 F-94s. That's pretty funny. Guns, thank you. Let's push this, let's get this to you. There's 2 bombers up here, perfect. I haven't gotten any bombers this match, and this plane actually quite likes going after bombers, because again, the guns just kind of tear through planes. Of course, it would be nice if I was actually tearing through this plane. There we go, coolio. Fortunately, they've got 4 sectors to our 1. I'm sure it's got to do with Siegfried here. Nice. Let's go ahead and see what we can't do to capture sectors. Oh, actually we've just got him and a Swift to kill, so let's try to kill him and let's try to kill the Swift, and we'll win by killing everybody. And we'll try not to hold down the trigger, because God knows that overheats these guns.
Be advised, the enemy is concentrating forces near the airfield.
Ah, the guns, the guns. Alright, so we've got that 228 to knock out. That won't take but 2 seconds. There we go, we got our Kozadub. And we're about to get perfect. Whew.
I'm proud of you, pilots.
Pull that out of our butts. Alright, well that's not a bad first game of the day. Hopefully that means my stream tonight will be really good. I need coffee. Alright, let's head on back. Alright, so we were able to get 17 total frags, 6 while defending. 260 capture points, 500 overall capture points. 10,000 damage done to aerial targets. So I mean, just a lot, right? And this plane can do a lot. It can be very frustrating to play, as any of the dual 30mm cannon planes can be. But unlike the Key 162 Mark III that I posted earlier this week, this plane's got, well, it's got more speed, it's got more altitude performance. And for me, for my bang, for my buck, at tier 10, I'd prefer that over maneuverability. And so I'll actually compare the two in just a moment. I'll compare all the tier 10 dual 30mm cannon planes. So anyway, did pretty well there, I'd like to say. Obviously, towards the end there was losing out on the sector game. We were pretty well up on capture points the whole game, so it wasn't stressing me out or anything like that. And we were, of course, able to just straight up win. I tend to flip a switch once Squall Line goes down. I do tend to get a ton of freaking Kozadubs. Well, not a ton. I don't know how many a ton would be. I like getting Kozadubs. They're a medal that I tend to get quite a bit. GG on Siegfried here is ridiculously good. Ridiculously good freaking pilot. I'm honestly surprised I won that. I think just making sure that I was honestly focusing on the planes that I could take down easier is what set me up for the win on this. So you'll actually notice 17 aerial targets, 15 of those were actual airplanes. So that means only two were defense aircraft, right? As it'll show here. Boop, air defense aircraft. 2. Meaning that I wasn't, wasting my time with this plane on air defense aircraft. We did that to get a couple sectors in the beginning, but after that I was going for the actual aircrafts. If I was going for air defense aircraft, it was typically trying to kill a heavy aircraft, getting some pot shots in on some other planes as it was flying past them, which you want to do in this plane, but you don't necessarily want to just stick with the light fighters. You don't want to necessarily just stick with a plane that you're finding difficulty sticking with. Heck, I did that a couple times with F-84s and F-94s, just because you've got so much speed on this plane, slowing yourself down to go at their pace, and you're right behind them. These 30mm cannons are going to miss their shots just because you're right behind them. The fact of the matter is, with this plane, you really want to play it as much like a heavy plane as you can, because it's just kind of the way it's built. It's really, really, really good at taking down heavy fighters. Incredibly good at taking down heavy fighters because of the amount of airspeed that you've got. I actually didn't use my boost all that much in this game. It's quite good at taking out anything that's chunky. So bombers, GAs, just fatter multi-role planes. It's gonna have a field day in those kind of situations. You'll notice, so this is one of my few specialized tier 10 planes. You'll notice I've got the ultimate equipment piled onto here. I don't have an outstanding pilot. It's a 9-point pilot. I know there's quite a few of you out there that have higher points than that for sure, even on your tier 10s. But I've maximized my accuracy and then taken advantage of aerodynamics and aerobatics expert. The aerodynamics expert is going to maximize these 3 equipment slots. It's going to maximize anything that helps your speed and maneuverability, and so that's a really good option for your pilot if you've got the plane specialized. And then I've put aerobatics expert on here to help my maneuverability. I mentioned in the game the maneuverability on this plane is kind of middling. It's actually on the low end when you get the plane initially. Once you specialize it and once you kind of start pushing towards maneuverability, which I've done, you can get it to a reasonable maneuverability. To be honest, and I don't have a specific way to compare this because I haven't specialized my MEP 1101, but I suspect it's on par. The maneuverability right now that I've got it set up for is on par with the specialized 1101. this plane here. The 1101 and this kind of start off in the same boat. Actually, almost the exact same boat. So I'd like to think that the maneuverability on this is probably... I might not be exactly like some of those 1101 pilots, because I know some of the people that fly 1101s fly them exclusively and probably have, you know, 10, 12, 14, 15-point pilots that you can get even more maneuverability out of. But I'd like to think I've got some pretty decent maneuverability with this plane. On top of that, I've gone ahead and put GOA on here to help with the rate of fire, hopefully getting some additional shots in there. I haven't gone back and reassembled any of these where you can, like, I probably wouldn't do chance of causing fire. I would probably do something like see if I can find a way to get the rate of fire boosted, get the accuracy boosted. That would probably be better. Actually, I can show you guys how to do that if you haven't done that before. I like the cooldown rate, so we're going to lock that in. The chance of causing fires I could care less about. And so what you do is you click reassemble. So every time you lock one of these items here, you'll use 2 tokens to lock it. See? And every time you re-roll everything, no matter if it's 1, 2, or 3, you're going to spend 400,000 freaking credits, which is a hell of a lot, right? And you'll click on reassemble. Rate of fire and chance of causing fire. Oh, geez, really? Chance of causing fire again. Rate of fire. Oh, so we do want to apply that. So I want to lock that. Chance of causing fire, I could really care less about, honestly. I'd want this to be the cooldown or the accuracy. Chance of causing fire, I want these guns to hit, because they're going to do a hell of a lot more damage just by hitting than by causing the fire. And so we've got both those. Now I'm going to spend another 400,000, and I'm spending 4 tokens because I've got these locked. Fingers crossed that this is something good. Seriously? No, we're not going to apply that. Wow, this is going to spend some money, isn't it? Cooldown rate, fine. We'll take that. Excellent. So I've gone ahead and maximized my guns, or, you know, maximized them as much as I could. I spent 1.2 freaking million credits and some tokens. I could care less about the tokens. I've got like 600 of them or something. So anyway, gas-operated action there. And then I've got accuracy, gyroscopic sight on here. You really need to focus your accuracy with these guns, in my opinion, just because you've only got 2 of them. It's very much hit or miss, no pun intended. But it's just the way these guns are built. On the consumables, I've got the first aid package on here, again, because if my pilot gets knocked out, I can't hit anything. Pneumatic control assist, if I get stuck into a dogfight that I shouldn't have gotten stuck into, hopefully pneumatic control assist can help me get out of it. If not, the engine cooling will hopefully help me get out of it. Keep in mind, I've got this uprated engine. My airspeed's at 99. Yeah, that's not necessarily as fast as some of the heavies that are out there, but it can surprise some heavies. There's definitely been times I've gone against human HG3s, Javelins, XF90s, where they were totally expecting to get away from me, and they didn't. And all it takes with these guns is a couple good hits, and you'll knock out an engine. I knock out XF90 engines all the time, HG3 engines all the time, Javelins a little less so, but you knock out engines all the time. So all you need is a little boost of speed, that engine cooling to go with you, and you're gonna wreck frickin' spec'd out tier 10 heavies for sure. I put improved mixture control on this, in fact. I did get my engine knocked out once in this battle. It doesn't happen all that often, to be honest. I don't know if it doesn't. I don't get my engine knocked out because A, I'm just moving too quick for people to actually hit me, or B, the engine just doesn't get knocked out. Either way, I've gone all in on the speed. I've maximized for speed, and maximized to be a pain in the ass to the enemy team. And you've got I can be a pain in the ass very well. You've just got to keep in mind with these guns that, you know, you've just got to deal with the repercussions of that. These guns have better distance than most of the 30mm cannons in the game. And with the gas-operated action, I've got them up to 777 damage with just 2 guns. So compare that to the Key 162 that we were talking about earlier this week. 500 less feet distance. So what is that? Like 150 meters less range? And they do less damage. So, yeah. You get less airspeed from this plane, and significantly less altitude performance. Well, I should say significantly less airspeed. Granted, this one's not specialized, but still, that's a lot that you're missing out on to get more maneuverability. And I just don't think it's worth it at tier 10. I'd much rather have this plane that can chase down bombers with ease. I was passing up everything. I don't know if you noticed this in the battle. I was literally passing up everything. Unless you're going against a human, you're going to be passing up everything. And even then, some of the humans you're going to pass up. F-86s and MiG-15s are the fighters that can keep the speed with you. Specialized 1101s probably as well. But other than that, if you're going against bots, if you're going against multi-rolls, if you're going against bombers, you're going to be passing them up. So you need to be mindful of that. The other tier 10 plane that has two 30mm cannons is, in my opinion, a joke. This is the FW252. Its role is basically the same as that of the Swift. The guns, slightly less range, but they do the same amount of damage. They're good guns. They're not as short-ranged as the Key, but they're not as long-ranged as the Swift. Just barely. Alright, well that's fine. It's got more hit points. That's pretty cool. 600 hit points compared to the 500 hit points that you've got on Swift. But I mean, it's a fighter. You shouldn't be relying on that anyway. Your airspeed is less. Well, that's a little disappointing, but okay. So then, okay, if the airspeed's less, well, then you'll have more maneuverability, right? Oh, no. No, it's got even less maneuverability. Well, that's really odd. So then all that, then you must have a much better altitude performance, which, I mean, we really wouldn't balance it out, but, like, what's gonna... Oh, you've got the same altitude performance. The FW252, I can't find a reason to fly it. I like the Swift. I hated the Swift when I first got it. I love the Swift now. The 252 is just a nerfed version of a Swift, and I don't understand the point of it. I can't find the point of it. I've had discussions with people. Nobody's pointed out a good reason to fly the 252 over the Swift. Don't know. It's all good. I'm not flying the 252. I'm flying the Swift. So anyway, this is another one of those planes that has two 30mm cannons that can be frustrating, but it can be very, very impactful, pun intended, if you play it to its strengths. This is not a dogfighting plane. This is not a type of plane that you're really going to want to, get yourself quote-unquote stuck in. You're going to play this like a heavy fighter. The one plane that I really find scary in this plane, honestly, is the F-86. Going against an F-86 is really difficult in this plane because the F-86 has your speed and it's got better maneuverability. Yeah, it's got weaker guns, but it doesn't matter if it gets behind you. You're toast, right? The MiG you can outturn. It's got the same speed, but you can outturn a MiG. The any other plane you can outspeed. Again, the 1101 you'll run into is kind of flip of the coin. Typically, you've got more airspeed than an 1101. If you don't have more airspeed, then they've specialized it for airspeed, then you've got more maneuverability. So you just need to figure out which 1101 you're going against. Sometimes that's difficult to do, obviously. Sometimes they'll kill you before you know what's up. Yeah, but you can find out by either trying to outspeed them and you see that they're keeping pace with you, or trying to outmaneuver them and you see that they're maneuvering with you. You know what kind of build they've got, but either way, they've got to go all in on one of those builds to be able to beat you in either aspect. So do keep that in mind. They've got really, really good guns, obviously, so they can melt you down. But anyway, I hope this gives some perspective on the Swift, a plane I really, really hated when I first got it. Absolutely hated, like to the point I almost sold it. This was my first tier 10, though. I'm absolutely in love with it now. I've got to be in the right mood to play it because it's the 230mm cannons. But other than that, yeah, I need my coffee. I don't know why I'm still rambling. I sound a lot more hyper than I actually am. So you guys have a good day. I will be streaming tonight, so come hang out with me there. And otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Bye.